It's Battle of the Strobes. Let's dive in. Okay, so if you're new here, I'm David from Learn Stage Lighting, and in this video, we're going to look at two new strobe fixtures from ADJ, the Jolt Bar FX2 and the Jolt Bar FX2. Let's dive in. So these both are two strobe type fixtures from ADJ that are new to the market at the time of this recording. This one's waterproof, this one's not. Other than that, from everything I can tell, they're the same exact fixtures. So what I want to do is kind of walk through what they are, then and what kind of applications they're good for. Then we're going to turn them on, blind ourselves, and show you the kind of things that these can do. So the Jolt Bars are basically an upgrade to ADJ's previous Jolt Bar fixture that has been out a few years and has become really popular. They've basically gone ahead and made it a little more rugged, and then they've also included this frost because as of last winter, adding a removable frost to a strobe is what every manufacturer is doing. So they've got a little frost, they've got a little nice finger thing on the side here. You just stick your finger in, you can pop it down, and you can pull that frost out, get access to the bare LEDs. Okay, why frost? Why is everyone adding frost to their strobe type fixtures? Well, you know, the whole strobes blinding in your face look is getting a little tired in the world, and they want to give you a couple more options. Not only that, but adding a diffusion, and this one's a pretty thick diffusion, as we'll show you a little later in the review, really gives you the ability to actually use this in a pinch as a wall wash or a backdrop washing type fixture. Is it going to be the best thing in the world for that? No, but it does a pretty decent job. And if it's something you have in your inventory and you need to light a backdrop, it can totally work. Okay. So let's take a look at these fixtures. First and foremost, in the physical, the biggest difference, like I said, they're essentially the same fixture, just one's waterproof, one's not. They both come with the removable diffusion filter. It's just that your non-waterproof version, of course, is lighter. It's about 30% less cost, right? So lighter, 30% less cost. It's a little shorter, a little more compact overall. Other than that, you know, they both have some really great features to them in terms of build. Okay, let's show you. So first and foremost is we've got these feet here and safety cable points that we're able to mount a clamp to or use it as a foot. Okay, there are also, I believe, in the box some other mounting options. They've got true one in and out. Okay, nice, you know, LCD, all the waterproof stuff. But then what's really cool, and this is new, is, you know, ADJ has a new wireless system out this year, their Aria X2 system. And it is not only a wireless DMX system, but once they get it developed, it is also a system that they're telling us you'll be able to do some RDM-like stuff where you configure your fixtures from a wireless DMX transmitter. Okay, so these have that wireless built in, but get this, no external antenna. Yay! So no external antenna that sticks out of the fixture that's gonna break off. I'm happy about that. So this is something that you can drop. It can do, I looked in the manual, it can do a DMX out. So you can have it sitting on wireless, do a DMX out, all good to go. So with that, let's go ahead, plug it in, take a look at it. I've also got the Encore LB15IP, and we're just gonna compare that in terms of brightness so that you can kind of see some of the differences and help decide if this or a similar light is best for you. And if it is, hey, come get it from Above AVL and Learn Stage Lighting Gear. So let's go ahead, we'll turn this on and we'll be right back. We're wired and fired, and so let's take a look at some of the differences here. So I've pulled up this Encore LB15IP and this Jolt Bar because they're really good to look at together for a couple reasons. I mean, sure, the Encore is more of a wall wash, you know, wash type light for lighting surfaces, lighting walls, whatever, whereas the Jolt is a strobe, but they do overlap in function. Of course, they're both, you know, approximately 1 meter strip light type fixtures. The biggest difference is going to be that something like this Encore bar is a narrower beam. So these, your strobe type fixtures are super wide. Okay, you know, 90, 100, 120 degrees often. That means they don't really cast a great beam in the haze. You kind of see it just kind of catch all the haze, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't really shoot a defined beam through it. Okay, it often kind of muddies up the look, honestly. Something like a strip light like this, especially with the diffuser removed, will shoot a beam through the haze where you see that physical beam a little bit. So that is something to consider. But I want to take a look at all the other attributes, really compare them good. While we're here, there are fans in the Jolt FX2. They're fairly quiet so far. They do at full ramp up. They get audible, but for any show you're typically using something like this, that's typically going to be fine. Okay, you're not, running them and doing, really bright patterns during, a church service or a corporate meeting usually. So that should be fine. So let's turn them on and see what we've got. Okay, so we'll just grab that. So first thing we've got here is this is all of our RGB LEDs at full. As you can see, it is quite bright on camera because this camera is a manual exposure. You can see it's insanely bright. You might need sunglasses. In terms of color, you can go ahead and we'll just pull up a macro, and we've got some really nice colors in here. You can see if we look through all these different color macros, you really get some nice saturated colors out of them. They look pretty nice, okay? Now let's go ahead and look at our strobe tube. So I'm going to go ahead and find my strobe tube. So out of laziness, I'm just going to select them on the touch screen. There it is. Boom. And there's the inner strobe. You see it really washes out the rest. It's very bright, and it's going to be actually a pretty narrow beam out of that center as opposed to the outer. It's fairly narrow, but it has a lot that comes out on the side. You definitely feel some heat coming. So let's look really quick and just show you the difference here on camera as we can as to how it kind of performs with or without the diffuser. So if we go ahead and pop the diffuser in, what we're going to see here is, diffuser is very easy to insert, is you really get two kind of different looks. I know it might be hard to see here on camera, but you can definitely see it in the top, where you get a much less direct, much less blinding look with the diffuser side, and it catches the light and looks really good. Especially, let's just turn off those inner strobe LEDs. And it takes it from something where, it's kind of two strips of all these individual LEDs to two solid strips of light, much like some of my favorite pixel bars back here, right? Where, it's got a white diffuser, it looks pretty solid, and you're good to go. All right, so that's pretty key as well. So the diffuser is really nice because you can get a more subtle look where it doesn't shoot as much beam through the air into the haze. Still looks really nice, and you're able to get an interesting look out of it. Now, since we're here, we're kind of in a nice orange. I want to just look at brightness with the diffusion compared to something like this Encore bar. So go ahead and grab that guy. Dial up a very similar color. That's too much. And so here we've got them both in a deep amber. And, just looking at them, comparing them, gonna stand by the camera just for your sake so we can see that really well. I would say the Jolt definitely looks a little brighter both in person and on camera. In terms of the light actually cast, though, so the light on the diffuser is brighter on the Jolt because, of course, that's what it is designed to do. The light cast by the Encore is going to be a little more bright, a little more narrow, etc. So do be aware of that as well. So that's a good comparison between the two. Now, let's have some fun looking at the kind of things that the Jolt FX Bar 2 can do. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up the master here and see what kind of macros we can get ourselves into. All right, so now we get to see where we can have some fun. I'm just pulling up some macros here so you can really see what this can do. Obviously, with pixel mapping, it would be cooler. So this is a really good place to point out the difference between using it in with the diffuser and not. So I'm going to once again pull the diffuser out halfway, because if we point it, say we point it at our overhead camera and take a look as it auto exposes, you can really see the difference here. How it can be hard to tell, but you really see the direct is more pixely, more granular, whereas it really gets softened with the diffuser. And it looks really quite nice, but it's a little less kind of harsh and beamy and stroby with that. So be sure to, take a look at that. You can see the difference there. Let's give you the difference between diffuser and non-diffuser. But if we dial back the intensity, I just want to show you, some of the animations and things that this is really capable of. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab that intensity, kick it way down. So we're at like 40% there. And then you can actually start to see what's going on there at about, 12%. On camera, you know, in a small space, that's definitely how it looks. So you can start to see how these macros would look. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit so the direct view side is a little better. It's kind of a balance between the two. Then let's go look at some different macros. So these macros, I think, yes, are dependent on the color you set, which is great. So they're all coming through as white right now. You can see there's a lot of different things you can do. And then if we go ahead and select all of the parts there, so say we go just blue, you can see the macro is just blue. And there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at some pixel mapping. So I've just got a great multicolored pixel map coming in here from Onyx. I'm going to pull that intensity way down. And I think you can see here from the image itself that you can really create some really great stuff both on the non-diffused or the diffused. I think I prefer the diffused just because it's a little bit of a different look, and I've always really liked pixel bars like these. But both definitely have a look, both definitely have, you know, an application. So what do we think? The Jolt Bar FX2 NIP are really stinking cool. They're bright, they're well priced, they're well built. And they seem to offer significant improvement. They're, you know, a good bit brighter than the original Jolt Bar without the prices changing a ton. So if you're interested in these or any other strobe type fixture, we can take a look at all of them for you over at Above AVL and Learn Stage Lighting. We love to help people every day find the right lights for their need, as well as other AV gear. So if that sounds good, let us help you. Shoot us an email, add some stuff to your cart and request a quote. We'd love to be your #1 source for AV and lighting equipment for the next few decades. We want to keep your business by taking great care of you. And if that sounds good, head over. We'd love to help. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks.